Okay, well, I think that studying HRM is useful primarily because it enables you to practice HRM better. And it's interesting, well, for a number of reasons, mainly because it's very varied. Being an HR manager is a very varied life, and it's also unpredictable. There's lots of different aspects to it that make it very different. So you're not just doing the same things all the time. There's a strategic, long-term side to what you're doing, planning for the future, thinking in terms of how we're going to do things next year, the year after, and so on. There's also a very short-term aspect to it. So a lot of it's very reactive. Crises blow up, things happen which you're not expecting, which you have to deal with very quickly and make very quick judgments with other people.
From my perspective, our organisations are, by their very nature, full of people who require recruiting, developing, engaging, and all of these sorts of things. So human resource management is fundamentally at the heart of what we as organisations do. It is interesting for me because people are naturally different and diverse. We all have our own stories to tell. And for that reason, in human resource management, even though you may be dealing with the same kinds of topic areas, so recruitment, HR development and so on, every individual situation can be a little bit different, which means that it's interesting, it's new, and you have to think on your feet quite a lot, which for me is very interesting indeed.
There's also a lot of it, of course, is about team working, so you're working with other people, other managers all the time, and that's interesting in itself too.
Human resource management is an interesting and very useful subject. It's interesting because it involves all of the influences and all of the considerations that are important to people in their jobs. So it involves individual motivations, individual commitment, individual attachments to jobs, but it also involves the best ways to manage people.
I think it's also interesting because there's a hard side to it and there's a soft side to it. Again, so it's very varied. The hard side, payroll, making sure people are getting paid on time, that the contracts are sent out, that are accurate and so on, dealing with disciplinary matters, performance management matters. These are kind of hard, solid things. And then there's a soft side to it as well. It's all about inspiring people and engaging people. So it's very, very varied on all those fronts. And that, I think, makes it uniquely interesting. The other thing I'd like to say about why it's important is just to, there's some research that was done in Oxford University a few years ago, a couple of guys called Frey and Osborne, and they looked at the future of work, and they tried to assess 702 separate professions, and they looked at how each one was, the extent to which each one was potentially substitutable by technology. And they found that HRM was one of the least substitutable professions. In other words, it's safe, it's secure for the next 20 years or so. I think only mental health nurses, doctors, choreographers were at the top of the list somewhere, but there are very few others that are as safe from being substituted by technology as HRM.
Studying HRM is important because we really need good HR managers. As a line manager in this organisation and previous organisations, I know the value of good HR advice. I know that it's really important to get advice that is timely and accurate and of the right quality, and this can help managers to make the right decisions. It's important that HR managers not only deliver reactive advice, but they also are proactive in thinking through problems, thinking through issues before they arise. Advice like that can be really helpful.